Hey, what's up, guys? I think some people are still expecting it to be on Discord. Let's give them a reminder that we're going to be going live on YouTube today.
Hello.
What's up?
Are you sure this will work? People will come?
Yes. Well, I'm letting people know right now in Discord that we're. Let's see, the numbers are coming up.
Okay.
We got 7 viewers. I mean,
Hello,
we did make
7 viewers. How do you see the viewers? I cannot see anyone.
in the top left-hand corner. I don't know if it's showing you. There's
PRAGMA
next to the
AMA says live. You're in the show. Everyone can see you. 10 now.
10.
Micah said. Okay.
Let me also put in general chat. Okay, good, awesome. Mods are taking care of letting people know that it's on YouTube. $10 now, yeah. I think hopefully Anga, the news we bring for you guys today is good. Let's give it a few more minutes, maybe 7 more minutes before we wait for everybody else to join.
I still cannot see how many people are.
Looks like we lost Delita. Okay.
this technology thing. I click on the buttons and I get out of the stream.
The stream kicked you out?
No. I was trying to click to figure out how many people are here, and I just left the stream.
Well, now we have 11. So I guess we're typically we have like 100 people. I guess not that many people use YouTube as we were expecting. Let me hop in real quick to the AMA stage and turn it on and let people know that we're actually going to be doing it on YouTube. Give me 1 sec. I think okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I think it's already been posted, Mimikor. I'll post it again just in case. I think also add it to the announcement channel and ping. Use the dreaded ping everyone.
No, I've seen drones typing on the announcement. Okay.
Okay, seems like okay. So I've posted in the announcements channel. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe maybe everybody else, is having a slow day. It's been, at least for me, guys, it's been a very tiresome week. Lots of things going on.
No, but in any ways, this is being recorded, right?
Yeah, it's being recorded. So,
Okay.
as soon as we hit 5:10, if we don't have any more people join in, we'll start with who we have right now. And
5:10 for you, right?
yeah, 5:10 for me. 5:10 for me. So in about
11 p.m. for me.
two more minutes, we'll start, everybody. If and I'll keep an eye on the Discord chat just in case anybody else is asking, what's going on with the AMA, where the AMA is. It seems like I've been able to get everyone that was in the AMA chat, stage over here.
So how you be? People ask things on the AMA chat. People ask things here.
Yeah. What I'm gonna do is that since we're live on YouTube, I'm going to be adding an invite link.
Okay.
To the chat, which gets them here on StreamYard, and then we can get people on board. But like the idea is that these regular AMAs are always going to start off with some big announcements from our part, as well as start off with any questions that were made prior to the AMA. Things that are made via Twitter, via YouTube, comments via the Discord chat primarily. And then we're gonna start going with the typical format where we invite people on stage, to give us their questions, give us their comments, etc.
Okay. Can you invite people here on stage? I'm quite lost.
Yeah, we can. That's why I chose StreamYard, because I was looking at OBS and all the other streaming services, and none of them could give us an easy option in order to get people on stage. So I just went with StreamYard. It's very simple, but it works with what we want to do. So I've put in the link now, guys. A link to be to join the StreamYard session as a co-host. So if anyone wants to join in, they can just click on the link. You'll be put in a queue, and then they'll just add you guys into the actual stream as we get finished first with the announcements, then the questions that were made via the chat, and of course I'll add you guys in bit by bit. Doesn't go to this live chat. Has 7 people waiting, but it doesn't. That's weird.
What's going on?
Apparently, some people from the Twitter link, they're joining, but it's not sending them to this live stream. Which, if I'm not mistaken, it is the same link. No, yeah, it's the same link. It's the same. I would just tell them to refresh, because if they went into the link prior to the live stream starting, what's probably happening is that that YouTube itself hasn't detected that we've gone live, since we're using external service to go live and to broadcast everything. So I think I'll just add a comment, you know.
Guys, do I have any background noise?
No,
People
not at
who are
all.
in the... Okay, cool. Because the dishwasher is on. It's very noisy. Sorry.
Okay, so 5:10, 5:12. Let's get this started, you know. And if anyone joins in, we'll just redirect them. The good thing is that using this method, I can get you guys the what's it called? I can get you guys the recordings up much more faster and much easier. It's pretty much, you know, after like 10 to 12 minutes after we've gone live, the broadcast itself should already be saved in on YouTube. So let's get started first with announcements. Delita, I have some announcements here that have to do with dev. So if there's anything that I'm, you know, saying incorrectly, or that needs to be, you know, touched on in more detail, just, you know, go ahead and as always interrupt me and let people have it. Or let me have it in this case if I'm the
Sure,
one
don't worry,
messing up.
don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, great. So first, of course, everyone, what's been on everybody's mind, what's been causing everyone to stay up late at night probably is the V2 of the contract. The V2 is pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, it's done. Now the only issue we're having right now, the only thing that's left to do is the automation process of getting the airdrops up and running. Delity's been working really hard to make sure that this process is automated, so that way we don't come into any sort of situations where people are getting scanned because they have to claim their token and they're being redirected to some other site. As well as, you know, sometimes people forget, you know, and things start to happen. So the whole idea is that we're trying to create a process where you guys don't have to do anything in order to do this migration. And all the workload is just based on us getting everything set up. So right now the contract itself is done. The issue now is this whole process that we're mentioning, that how we're going to automize. I think that's how it's pronounced. Automize, automate. Sorry, automate. How we're going to automate it so that way you guys just simply get the tokens and you don't have to worry about anything else. So that's what's causing some delays. Where the target is that it's either going to be this weekend or very early next week. And of course, we're working really hard, guys, to get that through. I suppose
If I have to run and say, like, yeah, there's a target, I would say very likely on Monday. Very likely on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And I'm sure many of you guys are also wondering how this contract is going to change. So I suppose, Delita, you can come into to more specifics as to what changes are going to be coming into this V2 of the contract. But I think the main one is how the new selling is going to work. So for the selling and the whole process of the contract, you know, claiming the PRAGMA taxes and then selling them off. For now, what's going to happen is that we're going to set up a sort of a modular system. Instead, the contract, it was hard coded to sell at a specific moment when it accumulated enough PRAGMA. It would sell it off and then transfer it to the Treasury, the RFV, and of course add back to liquidity. But now what we're going to be doing is that the contract itself, what it's going to do is simply collect the taxes, and then it's going to transfer it to another address. This other address can be a wallet, can be a contract. And what this allows us is to swap in and out. For example, if we make an automated contract that makes automated selling, this contract, if we implement it and for some reason we suddenly see that, hey, you know what, maybe it's not working that well, or we want to upgrade that contract, all we have to do is swap out that address. And of course, this address is going to be owned by the Treasury wallet and the dev wallets. So it's going to be multi-sig. Everything is going to be implemented in a way that it's maintained in-house, and the control is given directly only for the multi-sigs. And that way we have, you know, we avoid any sort of situation where people might worry that it's going to be redirected somewhere else. From the start, what we're going to be doing, and this is mostly to save time and to be able to implement the contract as fast as possible, is that the money is going to be, the taxes are going to be transferred into a wallet, and this wallet is going to be multi-sig, like the RFV, like the Treasury. And for the meantime, we're going to just simply be using our trading knowledge to determine when is the best moment and what the correct amount of Pragma is, whenever it is we're going to be selling, so that we can, transfer those taxes into RFV, into Treasury, etc. The long-term plan, and again, this is why we set up this sort of modular system. The long term is to, of course, automate it, and the automation process is going to be based on priced impact. So of course, the threshold this time, instead of it being a threshold where once we accumulate an X amount of Pragma, it gets sold off. The contract keeps accumulating, but the condition for it to sell is a price impact. If we want a price impact to be below 0.02% of price, then this contract will calculate how much Pragma needs to be sold in order to make sure that is only the price impact that happens. And of course, we're also going to make sure to have enough time space between these sell-offs, so it's not occurring, at once every 2-3 minutes. No, they're going to be spaced out, and of course, this is going to come a bit more in the future. The automated part is going to come a bit more in the future, because again, we need to take time to develop properly this process, so that way all the thresholds are working accordingly. So the time limit between each sell-off is the appropriate amount, and we're not causing any sort of trends that are starting to drop. And also, I think this also gives us a very, very, very good amount of time to develop it thoroughly, but also get some word from Chainlink, which I'll use this to sort of give into a segue into another announcement that I think is pretty interesting. Chainlink, as many of you guys might or might not know, is trying to find a way to automate processes on chain, and keep them decentralized. Because right now, due to the blockchain technology, what you have to do in order to automate processes is that everything that does the automation for you needs to live as a script outside of the contract, or needs to live in some other place. It doesn't live on chain. So Chainlink Labs is what they're trying to do, is create codes and programs and contracts that are actually able to be automated based on conditions and parameters, and make it so that way whenever you do automate something, the automation occurs on chain and is completely decentralized. Unfortunately, Chainlink Labs has not offered this on FTM yet. We're actually in talk with Chainlink. They're going to be a very big partner coming down the line, but of course, right now we have to wait for them to finish this whole part of setting up the support of these services that they're going to be adding to Phantom. And we're probably going to be inside of the beta testing and the alpha testing, so you guys can keep an eye out for that. Chainlink is going to be a very big I guess partner, not only technological partner, but also marketing partner down the line. But again, this is going to take time, because right now the ball is in their court. We have to wait for them to finish up the setup of this support of what they offer in terms of automation, oracles, etc. So it's available on the Phantom network. But yeah, like Delita said, it's going to be the target date is for Monday. So was claim the price when they dump. I'll get to that question in a bit, Liam, regarding whales dumping and stuff like that. But for right now, the main thing that the contract is going to be focusing on is making sure that we have what you would say is an appropriate control over the selling that the contract was doing, which was mostly crazy, creating a lot of negative feedback from the community. Other than that, I don't know if there's anything like major that's going to change, Delita, regarding the contract that you might want to add.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think yeah, that's fine. The main thing in relation of the contract is the control, the part of control. So we will be able to have more control over the contract, which means we will be more prepared for any sort of market. So you will be able to act in a way if we're pumping, or if the price is going down drastically, or volume dries up, or volume spikes in crazy ways. So we will have more control to do things. We will be able to stop the selling, to start the selling, to sell ourselves, which is the how we're going to start. So the Pragma will be collected through the contract, and will be sent to you said a wallet, but technically it will be a contract, but it will be a contract that's owned by the treasury. So
Exactly, because the multi-sig is actually not, it's not a wallet, it's a
no,
contract.
no, no, no. It's not even the multi-sig, because we need an interface. It's a different term. When we had this conversation, we talked about wallet, but it has to be a contract, which I will deploy soon before deploying V2. But it has to be a contract, and then the Pragma V2 contract has to implement an interface for this contract. But this contract pretty much will do nothing. It will be just owned by the treasury, and the treasury can go there and spend and do all the moves. It will be just
Okay,
a
okay.
manual thing. And in the future, when we implement a strategy that is proven to be to be to be good, that the strategy we discussed, the price impact one, that you will only spend the amount of pragma that won't affect the price drastically to sell and collect the taxes. We will swap the address on the main contract, and then we instead of sending to this contract that does nothing, and we as owners of the treasury will go there and spend ourselves. This contract will be acting automatically based on the strategy. And if this strategy doesn't work, we can go build another strategy in the future and change it. The contract selling it's a big thing. I'm not sure if everyone is aware what the contract selling is, because I think it's a pretty common thing in a rebase world, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the issue here was maybe that, since we had an increased sales tax, and the volume that we had at launch was much larger than we expected, that contract was being triggered a lot more often, um, than we maybe would have anticipated. So I think that's maybe why people started cutting off, because suddenly there was these huge, selling of Pragma going on. But yeah, like Delita said, guys, this is a very typical thing. It's been happening since Titana, because obviously the taxes, we can't collect them in a stable coin or anything else. We can only collect taxes in the token itself. And to make that useful, in order to have that backing for the RFV, and also have that backing for the liquidity, these Pragma tokens need to be sold so they can be turned into Wrap Phantom, and then that Wrap Phantom can support the RFV, and that Wrap Phantom can be used to create even more liquidity.
That's correct.
Exactly. And another announcement I think is very important to make is that people were asking clarification, or were asking results regarding the Treasury. We made a post the other day. I think it was Adam that made it, and I haven't gotten around to asking him to put more clarification on it. So instead, I think it would just be tomorrow or later today when we post the notes for today's AMA. Just simply to explain to you guys that the graph you saw was not the whole treasury. What you guys were seeing in that graph that was made in the announcement was just like 180K worth of Rat Phantom that we took out of the treasury, and it was put in a different wallet so that the traders could use it to trade. And as you can see, the results were astonishing. In about a week, they were able to double it and turn it into about 360K worth of Rat Phantom. And it's impressive, to say the least. But I also want to take this time to let everyone know that this is trading. At the end of the day, trading is very, it's not about predicting the market, it's about reacting to the market. So there are good days, or very good days, or very good weeks like we had this time, and sometimes there are all right weeks. Not every week can be 100x return, a 2x return, or a 100% return. So the reason why we haven't been posting that many results, or why we haven't been able actually to post results, is because any results that we post right now will be incomplete. When it comes to trading, to actually give you guys results that you can actually, I would say, judge the team's ability on, they need to be average results. They need to be results that are taken through a long period of time, and they need to be results that need to be, sort of picked clean, so we can, I guess, summarize them. How long each trade lasted on average, the average return of each trade, the average position size of each trade, because of course, depending on how the market is, or not more on how the market is being, but more on how the strategy is telling us, to go in, how much we're supposed to gain depending on the risk factor. Things like that. And at the end of the day, we don't want to sort of have people think that we're going in with false advertisement and promising 2x returns on Treasury every week, because 2x returns on Treasury every week, it's possible. But again, like I said, as traders, we're very dependent on what the market is doing and what is happening with the market in order for us to give results. So if the market is dead, if there's no trading, if there's low volume, there's not much we can do, So the results could be, a 75% return in 1 week, or 75% return in 2 weeks. So all we could really ask for you guys right now is a bit more of patience. The Treasury team is working on getting some results, and making sure these results it's a very thorough report that they're preparing. I said it in a message the other day. We don't want to give you guys a greasy Mickey D's burger of a report, simply, we made this much in about a month. No, we're professional traders, and we want to give you guys, a 3-star Michelin meal of a report, so that way you guys can really pick at it and look at it and really make a proper decision in terms of investing in Pragma or not, because at the end of the day, the dividend and the Treasury trading are going to be what's going to separate us from other projects. So right now, the whole situation is that the previous results we've had as traders, since some of our guys do prop trading, as in they trade other people's money, that sort of information, those sort of trades, the information from those trades to a certain point is private information that we can't really share. So we have to, we have to, implement these strategies into a new wallet or a new fund that's completely clean and that's completely decentralized. So that way, that sort of information we can't share, because it's information that's property of the project and not, somebody else's results from somebody else's trades or somebody else's capital that we've been trading. But I promise, once these trades are done and once enough time has gone by, we will give you guys much more thorough results of how the tradings are doing, how the tradings are going. But again, it's a bit difficult when we're starting off technically fresh when it comes with the capital we're working on, because previous results can't be used due to what I mentioned right now. It's proprietary information. It's information that we can't really share due to privacy and other sort of legal reasons. Now, the other thing that a lot of people were asking about was, what are we sort of doing in order to help Treasury, sort of help price bring back up, where, again, guys, I think I've been apologizing a lot, but we're sorry that this situation has been a bit of a mess. A lot of things, sort of interconnected, and what ended up happening was a lot of things were affecting price at the same time. The contract selling was causing a bit of FUD. We honestly weren't prepared very thoroughly to cover this FUD, which is why we brought on the new CM team that you guys have been talking with. And of course, we're in a downtrend. Unfortunately, Rat Phantom has lost about, I'd say 25 to 35% of its value since the beginning of this month. Everybody Chris, some people are still, complaining, still saying that what are we going to do to bring price up? The situation right now is we're working on the main things that are, that were causing some sort of, discomfort in some people to sell, which was, of course, the whole contract selling that should be up by Monday. You guys already seen the team working on making sure the community engagement is much better. We have a very big team. I think it's about 8 to 10 people that we brought on for moderation, content creation on Twitter, and all sorts of stuff. And the other piece of that puzzle is, of course, marketing. So right now, marketing, we closed a deal with CryptoDaily.io. We're just waiting for the Treasury to make the payment, and then we can start using their services for marketing. CryptoDaily.io, they're a pretty big outlet when it comes to crypto news, and they're very broad in terms of like what they cover, because they're not just, they cover BSC, Polygon, AVAX, Phantom. And of course, we're also going to be having, if you guys have seen Twitter, we're going to be having an AMA with James Pelton, which is a YouTuber that makes some really great content. The only thing now with James is just to set a date. He has a lot of demand. A lot of people are asking to do interviews and AMAs on his channels. So right now, the only issue is, setting a date properly with him and making sure it's a date that's not too far off. And now, also, we're going to continue with the DEX Tools promotion. We've been waiting for DEX Tools to prepare some stuff that they're going to be using to promoting on their site. So right now, the DEX Tool promotion that you guys have been seeing on the site has been like very small, but starting, I think, tomorrow. There's going to be a lot more of Pragma, especially on the banners and the interactive parts of the page that you guys will see. So that's sort of like the three main or the big things that we're doing in terms of marketing in the short term. There's still some other mid to small YouTubers that we're getting help from and that are helping us, increase the whole engagement on Twitter and hopefully redirect that engagement into Discord and then finally turn that into investors. Okay, so I think that's all the updates I had for now. Let's again, guys, I'll put the link here in the chat. So if any of you guys want to come on stage and you want to give us your feedback, give us your questions, you want to talk up here on the stage, you can join the link I'm putting in the chat right now, and you'll just be queued up, and then I can add you here. So a few questions that came in from the AMA chat. I'm not going to go through the questions, completely, because some of them are a bit lengthy. So I'm just going to give you guys the summarized version of what the question is, and then of course the answer. This is a question that not only I've been seeing a lot in the AMA chat, but I think I've also been seeing it a bit right here in the Telegram chat. I'm sorry, in the YouTube chat, is questions regarding the vault. What I can tell you guys right now is that the math and the whole I would say model that governs the vault or how the vault will work, that's done. That's pretty much done. The issue now is converting or translating the math behind the vault and the whole parameters of the vault, translating it into code. And of course, that's going to be Delita's job. But right now we have priorities. There are things that need to go before working hard on the vault, which is the V2 contract. So as soon as the V2 is done, as soon as it's launched, as soon as we've seen that the V2 is working properly, then we can start to, redirect our focuses on the vault, and I'll be working closely with Delita so I can help you, so I can give you guys regular updates as things go by, create a roadmap, explain how the vault is going to work or how we're going to be releasing information regarding the vault. But again, there are priorities. There are things that we have to take care of first, which is the contract. We can't really be thinking about any sort of long-term addition in terms of product. Well, we do have to, but we can't really be concerning ourselves or prioritizing that right now when we have such a such a big situation that's been causing a lot of concern amongst the community, which is the contract selling, which will be done shortly. And once that's done, we can start to focus, completely on developing the vault, on all the other things that we're going to be adding in order to increase token holders, in order to bring up price again, etc. Another question that we got was regarding circulating supply. There were some doubts if the 2.14% that you guys got daily meant that there was a 2.14% increase in the market cap of the token. The short answer is yes and no. The market cap refers, as many of you know, refers to tokens in circulation, tokens that are up for buying and selling. And that also includes tokens within the liquidity pool. The thing is, tokens within the liquidity pool, there's a special mechanism in place so that way the rebates that those tokens are doing are pretty much negated. And that way the price isn't affected by an increase in the amount of tokens inside of the pool. So of course tokens do increase 2.14% for holders. Anyone that's actually holding Pragma or any Pragma that is outside of the liquidity pool is technically speaking, it is creating an increase in 2.14%. And the big question was, okay, so if we burn tokens, does that mean? I guess the short question was, if every time that 2.14% increase in market cap occurs, does that mean that the holder's position increases as well in relativity in relation to the market cap? Again, yes, but of course this changes if we burn tokens. Well, of course that means market cap is reduced, but you as a holder still maintain the same position. You still maintain the same sort of growth if you're not selling. So you do maintain the same size, or more like your size increases if we burn tokens. And some people are also asking if in any sort of situation there's a way that sort of holding of market cap of the holder decreases. And no, your tokens will always be rebasing. They'll always be increasing. The only way your position will actually decrease is if you sell your Pragma. But if you hold your Pragma and if you don't sell it, then that 2.14% increase in the daily market cap, or sort of 2.14% increase, means that your holdings or your position relative to the market cap is also increasing. I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry, guys. It's a bit complicated to explain in such a short time, because it also means that you need to give a bit of an explanation regarding how market cap works, how the rebase works, etc. But in short, there's no way of your position actually decreasing unless you sell the tokens. A question that, again, we get a lot, and I see that you guys have been talking a bit during the chat about buybacks, and I thank everybody that's been giving their opinion, and that understands that buybacks right now are detrimental. Again, we're traders. Our main tool, or our main asset, our main tool for working for trading is money. So at the end of the day, the treasury is our main tool. That's how we're going to create growth in the treasury. That's how we're going to bring people on board via the FOMO that the dividend and the treasury growth is going to create. So any sort of buybacks that we do right now, also considering that the buybacks actually come from the RFB and not from the treasury, any sort of buybacks is just liquidity that we're offering to people that are leaving the project, that aren't interested in it. Before we can consider any sort of buybacks, first we have to fix the situation with the contract, bring the sentiment up a bit more, and then once we've covered incomes of sentiment and we've implemented the new contract, then we can start working on creating buybacks. And again, there was a lot of people saying, why not do small buybacks? Why not do there are small buybacks in place, and these buybacks are specifically for burning purposes. But they're not done frequently, because if we do it automatically or we do it frequently, that creates a pattern, and that pattern can at the end of the day become exploitable. Again, we're traders and we look for patterns, and whenever there's a pattern that can be exploited, we do so. So if we do automatic buybacks, we're creating sort of a repeating pattern that at some point some other trader or some other group could take advantage of. And at the end of the day, it'll just be more detrimental. So buybacks are a very difficult thing to handle as well. The buybacks and selling of PRAGMA are two things that we have to handle with caution, because at the end of the day, they mean they affect greatly, either negatively or positively, the protocol. So at least for now, the buybacks, they're on standby until we can get the contract launched. And once contract is launched, there are a bit more other things that we need to get more. So the main issue here is that we can't really implement buybacks until the contract is set up. And of course, once the contract is set up, there are a few other changes that we will be making during the week in terms of announcements. A very big change regarding how we're going to handle liquidity once we migrate for V2. And of course, depending on the results of what you guys as a community decide in terms of what's going to happen with the V2 liquidity. The short answer for that is that we're thinking of reducing the liquidity and transferring some of that liquidity into the treasury. But based on what the treasury or what the community decides of how we do that, transfer of some of the liquidity into the treasury, that will determine if we do some buybacks or not. But again, buybacks are being withheld because, again, it's exit liquidity. The main idea of buybacks at the end of the day, or at least for us, is to support whenever we're in a bull run, whenever price is hitting new all-time highs, or price volume is in a direction where price is going up. Of course, we want to make sure that price goes up, and we want to support that movement of going up. So whenever there is an uptrend, that's when we're going to be thinking of implementing buybacks in order to support that uptrend and make sure the price keeps going up and up. And any sort of small dips or any sort of small pullbacks that happen during these uptrends, they're small dips, or the dips that don't occur for a very long time. What's the next question? I was expecting some of these to happen. I'm sure some of you guys know that there's been a bit of a mess going on with some Obsidian Council projects. High Point recently had a bit of a. Well, I'm not sure what it ended with. If the project is closing, if it's gonna relaunch, there was a lot of things going on with.
No, the project closed. The project closed. And
yeah, okay.
I've been in talks with them, and there was another project. I think the guys that admitted one of the devs in that project was a rug. and
Village Finance.
people are worried. And I understand, because it's not only us, but other teams, other developers are part of Obsidian Council on the KYC projects from them, and especially on their Discord, there was like the last 2 days was like a lot of negativity going on,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's worrying. Yeah, and I understand why, because one of the projects, I cannot call a rug because it's under investigation, but it's very likely because I went to their Discord, and the person I talked to, the guy who was KYC'd, he openly said that the dev took the money and ran. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for Village Finance, the story that I heard, again, I've been more focused on our own project than anything else. Um, the story that I heard is that Village Finance, it was a group of 3 devs, and they brought on someone that was external, someone that they didn't know. They like hired him to be the CEO and the face of the company. And since he was a very public guy and very outspoken guy, very extroverted, they said, you know what, why don't you do the KYC and you'll handle talking with people, being the CEO and stuff like that, being the face of the project. And unfortunately, these devs, what they did is that they took advantage that this guy was a very trusting individual, and he was put up as a fall guy. He was the guy that was put up to take the fall for the whole project when they decided to rug. So at the end of the day, unfortunately, that's sort of what happened. They had one guy KYC'd, and the other 3 devs were in cahoots. And I guess the main way that you guys, I guess the main way that we're protecting against that is that even though amongst us in the Pragma team, some of us know each other for quite a long time, a lot of us are getting to know each other for the first time in a while. And of course, our setup is made so that way the multi-sig, or the time when we're doing multi-sigs, there's very little lineup, like whenever I'm on, because I'm going to be becoming one of the multi-sig signature users. Because I recently went through KYC myself, not with Obsidian, with another company. Actually, I went through KYC with CryptoDaily.io, which is one of the conditions they have for doing marketing with them. So now we're KYC'd, me and Delita, but we're KYC with different institutions. So we're sort of diversifying how we're being KYC'd. So at the end of the day, it's like me and Delita are getting to know each other for the first time when it comes to this project. So that's like the only thing we can give you guys, in terms of like that's our sort of that's our countermeasure, because here the situation is that these 3 devs were in on it from the start, and they probably knew each other for a while, and they just decided on getting a fall guy, to take the fall. And the difference here is that we don't, a lot of us really don't know each other that well. We're very anonymous in between ourselves as well.
Well, I've been doxxed to the team since the beginning, so it's fine.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Delita is the main dev. Everyone else that's part of the multi-signers, like including myself, I know a bit about crypto and about trading, but I am nowhere near as knowledgeable in terms of technology as Delita is. So we can't really, there's a rug is technically not possible, because there's the lack of knowledge in terms of how to actually do it. But at the end of the day, like I said, the KYC is there. It's not just Delita, it's myself as well. And we're KYC'd with completely different organizations. What else?
People are asking about the pump. Guys, V2 is coming. V2 is coming, and we are changing this graph.
Yeah, the pump is coming, and I would say that the biggest pump is actually going to come once we release the dividend results. That's why I think maybe we haven't been that. I mean, we are worried, and we are a bit concerned, of course, of how the price is acting right now. but we trust wholeheartedly in our model. We trust that, you know, once we release those results of how the dividend, how the dividend is going to be and how the treasury results are from the trading, we will create a lot of FOMO. You know, a lot of the stuff that we're holding back in terms of marketing is going to be used once we have those trading results. You know, it's going to be everywhere. We're going to try to, you know, burn as much oil as we can to make sure everyone knows that, hey, Pragma is still alive, it's still running. And the idea at the end of the day is that we're not just going to be, we're a rebase token on the surface, really. It's what you see firsthand, but Pragma at its core is actually a defined investment fund. You know, at the end of the day, we don't want people to see price and be like, okay, you know, we don't want you guys to see the benefit of joining Pragma because of speculation of price, but more from the actual cash flow that we generate from an actionable activity, which is the trading. You know, at the end of the day, it's we're sort of we're a DeFi investment / hedge fund, and that's the whole idea. You know, slowly transition more and more into the idea that, you know, the benefit of Pragma isn't really holding the token and getting the rebase and the price that's going up or down or whatever. It's the benefit that you get from holding the token and receiving those dividends on a monthly basis. You know, actually create an actual source of passive income that is independent on people buying or selling, and doesn't really, you know, and is irrelevant when it comes to, you know, the sentiment of the token itself. Because another thing that people were asking in the AMA chat is, how are we gonna avoid becoming high point when we're sort of following the same pattern? You know, volume is low, price is down. The big difference between us and High Point is that we're a project that has much more to offer besides just being a rebase token. You know, there's the rebase token part, like I said, is on the surface. It's just what you see mainly for Pragma. At the end of the day, at our core and what we aim to be is a DeFi investment / hedge fund. And I think that's pretty much all the questions I was able to catch.
There's another one. There's another one here. I'm going through the AMA chat,
Okay.
asking if there are buyouts planned after V2 launch.
Mm-hmm.
I just can say yes. Yes, there are buyouts planned.
Yes, they are buyouts. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're first going to put up on a vote what's going to happen with the liquidity. The idea is, you know, we're going to give you guys the opportunity to decide whether the whole liquidity that we have right now for V1 goes into V2, or that we separate it and part of the liquidity goes into the treasury, so we have more money to work with. And of course, depending on what people decide of how much treasury goes, how much of the liquidity goes into the treasury, that will also affect how much buying back we will actually do upon launch of V2. Okay. And Blue Chip, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but it seems like your device got disconnected. If you want to reset so we can bring you on to talk on the stage. And again, if anyone wants to join, I'll put up the link again. And you guys can come up here to you know, voice your concerns or give us your questions. But Blue Chip, like I said, you know, if you could like reset your browser, because it says that you can't join, or I can't add you right now. So just reset, and then I'll bring you up on chat. There you are. Add to stream. Hello. I think you're muted, man.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So my question is around the tokenomics. So I noticed that so right now our circulating supply is about 127 million, and the allocation to the team is 460 million. So once that allocation gets distributed, like the math would suggest the team would have 75% of the supply.
Yeah, the issue with that is I have to admit, it's a bit of an oversight on our part. You know, the initial idea was that we were going to have that distribution, but that distribution was going to be so we could, you know, pay out sort of what you would call a salary for the team, because at the end of the day, we're technically employees of the project, you know, and we've set up ways so that way that allocation was actually just going to be, you know, so small, very small bits of it were going to be sold off to pay our salaries. But again, people were concerned because that was a really large number. So right now, the actual allocation, of what we're going to get is pretty much null. It's what you guys can see within our wallets on the sorry, I forget the name, on the white paper. Those wallets that you see, that's the allocation that we're having right now. And up until now, we haven't sold any positions, we haven't paid ourselves off or anything until we get this situation recovered. So the whole amount that we have, and this has also been within discussion, but we haven't made an announcement because we haven't really had the time to talk about it thoroughly because we've been focused on other things. But that initial, I'd say, allocation that we had will probably be reduced. But at the end of the day, that huge allocation wasn't meant. So you know what, we're gonna give it all completely to the team. It was meant to, so you know what, guys, this is gonna be the pot that is gonna be used to pay you guys out in terms of like what your salaries are gonna be. Sort of that was the idea. But we forgot to be a bit more transparent in terms of the idea that whole amount that we're gonna get, we're not gonna get it, completely, or we're not gonna be able to sell it off at all. We're just going to be able to sell off like 0.01% of that once every week, once every 2 weeks, and stuff like that.
I'm not even touching that.
Exactly. For now, man, if
the allocation exists, the allocation doesn't exist anymore. Like that money is in the treasury. You can see that the treasury holds like 5 billion pragma, and that money is not in play, right? So if you go to the dashboard, you can see the circulation supply. The circulated supply discounts the treasury, the RRF, the risk-free value wallet, and also discount the address I have that is burning 1 pragma every 4 minutes. As you can see, if you go to our contract on FTM scan, you can see that I have an automated pragma burner. This is just to kick off the rebase. That wallet also doesn't count. That wallet at the moment is holding, give me 1 sec. I think it's not holding a big amount of pragma. I have to top up the wallet, but yeah, it's holding less than 2,000 pragma. But it was holding something about 10,000 pragma or more when we launched. And it burns 1 pragma every minute. So all the other wallets count on the circulating supply. So all the holders and the LP. The LP is very fat at the moment. Like I think the LP is a whale in the pragma holders because a lot of people sold. And when you sell pragma, you send your pragma to the LP token and you take W Phantom out, right? So the LP balance is pretty much lots of pragma, not much W Phantom. So that's the other question that came today during the chat was why the liquidity on Discord when you go on the right hand side and say the liquidity is bigger than the market cap in there. So the liquidity is half pragma, half W Phantom. So it's the sum of both. So the W Phantom part is 2 million. Now at the moment it's like 2.1 or 2.2 million or something like that. Let me just refresh here and have a look.
So I guess just going back to my question, like once things normalize, do you have like a target % of circulating supply that you're planning on allocating to the team?
No, I think it's we are reviewing the way we will get our allocation, and very likely, especially if the volume doesn't pick up, we're not touching the market because we don't want to sell. Like if the contract sell 10,000, it makes a massive red candle, right? I don't want to sell 100 in there because I don't want to help to the volume on the wrong way. We'll find other ways to get the money. Maybe get from the treasury instead of directly from the treasury a little bit instead of like getting pragma to sell into the market. I don't know. We will see, but the allocation won't be touched. And if it's touched, like the percentage is like Drone said, it's like what 0.01, 0.0001, because that's it's at the moment is living in the treasury. You know, if so.
Yeah, technically there is no team allocation besides what you guys see in the white paper wallets. You know, the whole allocation was returned. The treasury is holding it right now. That allocation is property of the project, and we're simply, you know, we're not considering, you know, what we're going to do in terms of allocation until we fix the issue. You know, it's sort of like our conditioning until we get things fixed and we get things back on track. Then we can consider, you know, how we're going to, you know, start paying off the hours that we put into the project. And like Lito said, at the end of the day, we're employees of the project, so it'll probably be like a salary that'll come out of the treasury. But that sort of thing that's going to happen until we've corrected things. You know, once we've brought things brought them back up.
Yeah, I think just like having that ironed out would just help investors to have more confidence in the project, just because there's a huge swing between what's in the white paper and diluting investor ownership over the project versus like 0.01%, right? So
Yeah,
having that certainty would just increase confidence, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will go through the white paper, and we'll review everything that is there to update any information that was put there before we launched to after. Like I have we have to admit, after what happened on from Easter Day, from Easter Sunday, and the graph like was bleeding only. You know, things changed, and we had a plan, and we say like, okay, there are more urgent things to fix. That's why like we are pushing over the vault development a bit further, and the dividend development also a bit further. I will put V2 out. We'll fix these things. We will take suggestions from the community. We're already taking suggestions from the community to see how V2 will be deployed in a better way. We're talking. I talked to other project owners as well to see how they are dealing with this, because this is not only a Pragma issue. The whole market is in red, and we will launch a new. It's literally a new token, right? That you will have the same supply. You will be airdropped the same amount you have, and but the graph will start from zero, right? And we will do things that it will come in announcements before the launch. How long we say it, Drone? Like I think we'll do like at least 48 hours before
Yeah,
the
we need at least
actual
48 hours
launch.
to make
Yeah.
sure everybody is on board on what's going to happen. And sort of to like finish answering your question, Blue, because I think we're sort of starting to diverge a bit. For now, like I said, the allocation is just going to be what we're having on the white paper, and then we're going to revisit the whole allocation of the team strategy. But of course, once we do revisit that allocation, we will be completely transparent. We will update the white paper and we'll make an announcement so that way everybody knows, you know, what the ownership of the core team is in regards to the ownership of the project itself.
Yeah, thank you. And then just like from like looking at the holders graph, it's a little, it makes it difficult to understand the sort of distribution when the treasury holds 97% of the supply. And like part of that was the 4 billion tokens, once again coming from the white paper, that were like, based on what the white paper said, those 4 billion tokens were rebase rewards to be distributed to the holders, but those aren't really being distributed to the holders because the rebase is happening in the holders wallet itself. So like that 4 billion is just sitting there. And like from an investor standpoint, I look at that and I understand there's a multi-sig, but that's sort of a smoking gun where that's enough to drain the liquidity if you really wanted to, if you had enough bad actors.
Do you wanna go, Drone? Do you want me to say, or it's like
Yeah. I think this is
Yeah, I was thinking today about this. I was thinking to write. I think I will get on a jump on a Medium post and write the differences post. I know that what happened yesterday with Village Finance, it doesn't help what I'm going to say here, but I think the security shift from security on the code to security on the KYC. I am KYC'd. The Obsidian Council know where I live. They know my name. They have my passport. They have everything. If something happened, and Drone is also KYC'd with the what is the name? You did yesterday too with the
Daily.io.
yeah, Crypto Daily. So it's like people know our real names, and you know it cannot happen this because we had opportunity as well to do it because we got 4.3 million at the start of the back. We could, as I think Flint said once, it's like, well, yeah, we could get those 4.3 million split with us and disappear, right? And no, and we put 3.9 into the liquidity. We kept 300,000 ish, little less than 400,000 to us, which at the moment is 600 now, right, on the treasury. And
I think here, Delita, the question a blue chip is going to is that those 4 billion tokens that we have in the treasury that are for rebase rewards. I think a bit of clarity of how those 4 billion are being distributed as rewards, because at the end of the day that they're supposed to be, rebase rewards are supposed to be distributed.
Okay,
but
let me explain how it works, because this is not how a rebase token works. Those tokens are not in play. Those tokens will never move out of the treasury, a part of what the tokens we have to pay. So for example, I have to pay. I have to finish the vesting schedule from the competition winners today and next Thursday. So those tokens, which will be around 100,000 pragma today, around 100,000 pragma, a bit more on next Thursday. Those will come from the treasury. It will increase the supply, so they will enter in play. But we could get those tokens and burn them all, and it will make any change to the protocol at the moment.
So I guess if you could burn them and it wouldn't change the protocol, why not burn them?
Well, we can. Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
We never
I think
touched
what
those
he's trying
tokens.
to say is that those 4 billion, they're just sitting there, and now that blue chip mentions it, it is a bit of a red flag. How the treasury is holding like 97% of the circulating supply, and I mean, I think we need to talk about it, internally to make this burn, to do it appropriately and then announce it appropriately.
Just a correction, Drone. We are not holding 97% of the circulating supply. We're holding 97% of the total supply.
Of the total supply, that's right.
The 97% is not circulating. It's there. It's not in play.
But at any time, the treasury could choose to put them into circulation, right?
Yes, that's true. And we only put in circulation what we have to pay.
But you also have like an ops like distribution that was also put into the treasury. So I guess that 4 billion is on top of what you were kind of claimed was going to go to the ops. I'm not saying you're being dishonest. I'm just saying that like you have the allocation for ops, and then you've got this extra allocation that really isn't doing anything.
Yep. We could burn. Yeah, we could, which is very unfair. What we could do, we could like go and say, yeah, we burn, I don't know, 1 million pragma, 1 million, I don't know, 1 billion pragma. It makes no difference, right, to the circulating supply, because those pragma wasn't in play. To be an actual burn, we have to get the RFV, buy pragma from the liquidity pool, get into the RFV wallet, and then burn, because then we take out from circulation. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I don't like. I totally respect that, like, y'all are in charge of the tokenomics and putting things kind of where you think they best belong. I'm just thinking, like, from the outside, if I'm looking at this as a first time investment, like, I want to put real money into this project, I want to make sure that, like, everything is tight, right?
Yeah.
So, like, kind of this excess kind of, oh, we could do this, it's just like it makes the project feel a little bit sloppier than it could be if
Yeah. To be honest, I played this game on everything is tight, right? Everything is so tight on our contract that I cannot stop that thing stop selling. That's why that's why V2 is coming, because I want more control over it.
yeah, I like I totally respect the sort of the work that's going on in terms of the security, right? That is probably more important than what I'm describing, because like that is the way bad malicious actors are going to get in here and destroy the project.
Yeah, sure. I understand.
Yeah,
I think it's. I guess your concern, Delita, is that if we do burn it and we make an announcement, it'll seem unfair in terms of a marketing standpoint. But I guess at the end of the day, what we could just be clarified is that these tokens weren't in circulation, they weren't in play, and as Blue Chip is saying, they're pretty much doing nothing. So instead of keeping them in
We can
like
go there. We have to keep a reserve for us, because we might make deals in the future. We might make deals in the future to go and say, like, look, we paying Pragma, right, for YouTuber or I don't know, other company. But yeah, we can burn the whole majority of that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that seems good. That's something we could do. I think it needs a bit more of chat to know how much we're going to be keeping in order to divert them more for like operations, but and also give people a concrete number of that the vast majority is going to be burned, but how much exactly of that vast majority it is.
I think, like, from the white paper, you allocated 48 million for operations. So, like, even that alone, if that were to kind of be distributed for YouTubers or whatever, that would dilute the supply 30%, right? Because the supply is at 120 plus the 50 that you have allocated. That would, like, that's still enough to significantly impact the supply. So, like, I guess that would be my concern, is if you're starting to dip into that 4 billion as well, that's like really harming the existing holders, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, sorry. I am replying the chat one thing. Just one sec.
No worries. But yeah, sure, Blue. We'll definitely take that into account, and I think you're very spot on in terms of like that 4 billion. We don't really need it, and what's inside the operations wallet is rebasing at the end of the day. So with those rebases itself, we probably have more than enough for taking care of paying marketing and other sort of like partnerships and stuff. So I wouldn't say we're going to burn it immediately, but I will bring it up for discussion, after the AMA to the team, so that way we can, get the multi-signers, all in the same place, and we can, set up the burning of that excess, that we really don't need.
Yeah, and so thank you. I know this is probably deeper than you were planning to go in an AMA, so I just want to thank you for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question, man.
We enjoy the difficult questions. It's okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, man. Okay, now let's bring on Jed. You still with us, Jed? Hello?
Muted. You muted.
Yes, I think he is. Can you hear us, Jed? Hello?
I don't think it's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, while we wait for Jed, I'm just going to answer a quick question that I was able to catch here in the chat regarding the Sphere partnering. Um, and more specifically, Brewmaster was asking, what synergistic effect do you see partnering with Sphere? I mean, the only effect that I really see from partnering with Sphere is increasing the liquidity. Um, I mean, that's the whole point of
Uh,
QLAS. You know,
let's be clear. Let's be clear and use the correct term.
Mhm.
We won't partner with Sphere. If we
Exactly.
join the QLAS,
We're
will be
contracting a
Sphere
service.
clients. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It won't be a partnership. We'll be a client to Sphere service.
yes. So Sphere is changing their decks to Tetu that allows them to run the service that they are providing, the QLAS. We will analyze and see if this is a good thing for us, because there are other things that we might do with V2 that maybe we won't be able to join QLAS. So we might if it's a good thing, we might join the Sphere quantum liquidity as a service, but we are not 100% sure yet if this will happen. There are pros and cons on both sides. So we are chatting internally, and then we will decide once we move. The other problem, the other problem is V2 is coming soon for us. We will probably won't be able to join their decks on, for example, if it comes on Monday. So which means a certain point in the future, we'll have to again take the liquidity down and put the liquidity up in another pair. So, and this might be very, like, just the fact that we're doing a V2, a lot of people will see as a red flag, and and if we have to do it again, we don't we I don't know if people will see us as good as bad, even though we are, like, for a good reason if we're joining their service. But the word, just to be clear, the word partnership is not correct. It will be Pragma will be a Sphere client if we join QLS, if we join T2 Dex. Okay, Jerome, sorry.
No worries. Yeah, thanks for the clarification, man. Okay, so let's just finish it up. Jed's I think his microphone wasn't working. So let's bring up Independence. And go ahead, man.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hello.
great. Hello, guys. Thanks for bringing me on stage. I asked this question, and you sort of touched on it, Drone, and it's hard for me to just. So one of the questions I asked um, was just about the liquidity, and you sort of touched on it. Like, did you see that question? So it's basically, can we take some of our liquidity and move it into the treasury to increase our to strengthen our treasury? Is that possible?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that's under discussion right now. We're just not sure how much. The idea right now is to split it in half. Once we pull the liquidity from V1, split it in half, and then have half of that become the liquidity for V2, and that other half go into the treasury, so we have more to work with, and of course increase how much dividends we can actually pay out.
Wow, so you
Um,
50%.
yeah, that's still under discussion. That's like the ballpark number right now.
Yeah.
But of course we're going to put it up to a vote for the community. At the end of the day, there's some pros and cons to this. Of course, a smaller liquidity will mean that price will be much more sensitive to either buying, so that means we can bring price up a bit quicker. But it also means that if people start to sell, the price dip or the price impact will be larger.
Yeah.
But this is coming directly from the Treasury team. From what they've received and the feedback that they're getting from the users, that the big liquidity might not be as beneficial as we think, or at least not from the start. But then, like I said, split it in half and then put that back into the treasury so we can work with it. And actually, great. I'm glad you mentioned this because there's something else I've been forgetting to mention during today's talk. A lot of people were also a lot of people were asking about the charity, the 10% that we were going to give out to charity, and how they were feeling that maybe that wasn't that fair to the investors. That's also being discussed right now with the team, and the idea. And again, this is like a ballpark statement, which means it's not defined. But the idea is that 10% that goes to charity. Instead, let's not give it to charity. Let's just invest it again into the treasury. So that we have a stronger treasury and we have more money to work with when it comes to trading, and thus we can give a much higher reward in the coming months.
Okay. So you're considering both of my proposals then? That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the proposal you made has been given by a bunch of people when it comes to the charity part, and it's like it's been discussed with me so many times. It's like we can't really ignore it, So yeah, and it makes sense, it's maybe best for the protocol that at the beginning, instead of being charitable, use that 10% to work with it and make sure that during the next month or the next 2 months, that still we haven't determined for how much period of time we're going to be using that additional 10% as treasury trading. Instead of it being 80-10-10, it'll be 90-10. We don't know how long that's going to last, but that's the idea right now. Put it into the treasury so we can work on it, and whatever sort of returns you guys get from dividends is actually higher.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And do you know when we will have an idea of what the outcome of these discussions will be? Just so we know, would it be the next meeting, or just so we know?
I've been pressuring the team. Unfortunately, this week some of the guys have not been on due to personal reasons. But at least I've got the discussion going, and the people that are online are in agreement that maybe we should, not do this when it comes to, sort of like put the treasury, the charity into an treasury, and not do charity for a while, or a month. I don't know. That's still to be determined. And the whole part of the liquidity, we need to, get the whole team on board and get that answer done before we launch. That answer needs to be made before we launch, before the V2 is online. Because of course that decision, or that decision affects how the whole V2 process is going to go on.
Okay.
Yeah, it affects how much money we pull into the liquidity pool.
Yeah, exactly. But I think like if you're splitting a 4 million liquidity by half, that's still 2 million.
Yeah, it's still pretty big. It's still very large.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll like they said earlier, our market cap is 3.8 million or whatever it is. So and that gives us a lot more time to be able to raise our price organically and quickly as well, because it's going to take ages for us to really get to the 10-cent mark or 15-cent mark again. With the liquidity that we currently have.
Exactly. And again, I think something that people forget to realize is that our market cap when it comes to rebase token isn't really that relevant, because we're artificially increasing it due to the rebase. But definitely I think one of the main benefits here is that since we're in a point of price discovery or discovery of the project, a lower liquidity will mean that these sort of hikes, or these expected, big green candles that people want to see when a project is starting off, will be much easier to achieve. And of course, since we have the whole liquidity growth process going on with the taxes, eventually the liquidity will be brought back up and we will stabilize price. But of course, this will be much down the road, much further down the road, when we've had enough time to to increase the price organically, like you said.
Yeah. The last question, very quickly, would the
Go ahead.
With the 50% that you're talking about, will it just be on investment treasury, or part of it will be RFV?
It'll be part of the whole treasury. The RFV is actually separate from the treasury. The RFV is specifically to support price. It's implemented when it comes to buybacks. But once that 50% is separated, it'll go completely into treasury. And depending on people, if the committee decides yes or no, that 50%, some of that 50% will be used to make a bit larger buybacks. But that will come directly from the treasury, and of course, those tokens that are bought back will be burnt.
Yeah, so that could be like 2 million. Like that's a lot of money in the treasury.
Yeah, that's a lot of money in the treasury, and seeing as how we're still not even halfway through the monthly period, we still have like a few good I'd say 2 weeks, we could put that 2 million to work and give out a dividend that's pretty large when it comes to it.
Okay,
Once
great.
we hit that day for the dividend distribution.
Okay, great. Well, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Great. Okay, so if there are any more questions, guys, I think we'll leave it here because we've been on here for like an hour 20. I'm sure there are still a lot of questions and things we can answer. So if you guys want to, move the conversation over to the AMA chat, I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. But thank you guys for coming. Apologies if getting here it was a bit of a mess. I think we could have done a better job of announcing that we were going to be live on YouTube. But the idea is that using this platform, using this format, it will be much quicker to get recordings to you guys. Like I said, immediately after we're done with this live, the recording should be like pretty much ready in about 5 to 10 minutes while YouTube processes the recording. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your questions, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Again, remember, the AMAs are going to be weekly, and they're always going to be at the same time, 22 UTC, unless we have to make some sort of change. We'll announce it ahead of time. But they'll always be on Thursday at 22 UTC.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.